Your kidneys are quiet, but they carry everything, every medicine, every stress, every salted lunch you didn't want but ate anyway. They filter your blood 300 times a day. And yet, they never ask for anything in return. Until one day they do. Not with pain, but with signals, tired legs, swelling, a strange taste in your mouth, a pressure you can't quite name. What if healing didn't start in a hospital? What if it began in your fruit bowl? I've seen this so often. Someone says, I just feel heavy lately, or my ankles are swollen, but I drink water, I rest, nothing changes. And then we look at the kidneys, the filters that never complain until they can't keep up. But here's the good news. They're not broken. They're just overworked, and they respond beautifully to the right kind of support. Today, I want to show you 6 fruits, not rare, not expensive, but incredibly wise in how they help your kidneys. Quietly, naturally. 1. Apples, the gentle sweepers of waste. Some foods don't need to be announced. They wait in bowls, on windowsills, beside morning toast. Quiet, familiar, almost invisible in their wisdom. Apples are like that. They don't detox with drama. They don't cleanse with punishment. They clear, softly, slowly, daily. Inside each crisp bite is soluble fiber, a kind that moves through your intestines like a soft broom, binding waste, sweeping it out through digestion before your kidneys ever have to carry the burden. Think of it like this. Every time you eat an apple, you're giving your kidneys a little less to worry about. One of my patients once told me, I didn't change much, just added an apple after lunch. But somehow I started waking up lighter. That's how gentle healing works. It doesn't rush, it repeats. And apples carry more than fiber. They hold quercetin, an antioxidant that helps reduce inflammation, including the low, quiet kind that often settles near aging kidneys. No flashy claims, no exotic origin. Just a fruit your grandmother probably trusted, and your body still remembers. Slice it, sprinkle cinnamon, warm it if you like, or hold it whole and bite like your childhood did. Let it crack open in your mouth. Let its sweetness meet your gut. Let its fibers sweep what your body no longer needs to hold. Because sometimes healing isn't about adding new things. It's about noticing what's already there and letting it work. 2. Blueberries, tiny guardians of kidney tissue. They look like nothing, just small, round dots on a spoon. But blueberries are more than fruit. They are tiny guardians, silent and consistent. Inside their skin lives a pigment called anthocyanin, a compound that doesn't shout, but protects the fragile inner walls of your kidneys from slow, quiet inflammation that builds with time. I often think of them like this, little shields floating through your blood, lining the tubules, keeping things soft and safe where toxins try to scratch their way in. They don't fight, they buffer, they don't burn, they cool, and that's what aging kidneys need. Not alarm, but gentleness. A handful each day is enough, in warm oats, on soft yogurt, frozen, and allowed to thaw slowly in your mouth. One patient once told me, when I started eating blueberries, I didn't notice much. Until one day, I realized I wasn't as puffy anymore. My body felt less swollen, like something inside me was calmer. That's what real food healing looks like. Not overnight miracles, but a long conversation between your cells and your habits. So, next time you hold a blueberry, see it not as a snack, but as a promise. A promise that something small can still guard something precious. And your kidneys, they notice. 3. Cranberries, the fruit that keeps bacteria from settling. There's a certain sharpness in cranberries, a tartness that wakes the tongue. But inside that bold flavor is a wisdom that many overlook. Cranberries have long been known for urinary health. But what they truly offer is protection through softness. You see, the compounds in cranberries, especially proanthocyanidins, do something elegant. They make it harder for bacteria to stick, to cling, to settle in places they don't belong. I like to think of cranberries as keepers of boundaries. They don't kill, they discourage. They don't shout, they nudge. Inside your urinary tract, they act like polishers of old pipes, making the walls just slick enough that invaders slide right past. One woman I worked with used to struggle with infections. She said, I felt like I was always one step away from discomfort. But after making cranberry her quiet ritual, a few sips of diluted juice in the afternoon, a scattering of dried berries on warm porridge, she told me, "It's like my body finally built a no-entry sign, and this time, it worked. You don't need a bottle, you don't need a dose, you just need the habit, the whisper. Let cranberries become part of your rhythm, not to fix, but to fortify. Because the best defense isn't always strength. Sometimes it's slippery grace. Which of these fruits has already lived in your kitchen, but maybe you didn't see it as healing? Until now? Sometimes healing doesn't look like a pill. Sometimes it looks like a slice. 4. Lemons. Acid that softens stones. Some healing comes with sweetness, and some with a gentle sting. Lemons belong to the second kind. Inside their bright yellow flesh lives citric acid, not the kind that burns, but the kind that whispers to stones forming inside your kidneys. Soften, loosen, leave gently. This acid doesn't attack, it sings. It breaks down mineral buildup before it hardens into something painful. And that's the gift of lemons. They don't just wake the tongue, they wake the flow. One simple habit can begin everything. A warm glass of water, a squeeze of lemon, taken before the day starts talking too loud. It's not a detox, it's a reminder that the body needs flushing and the kidneys need rhythm. Lemons also help your body balance its pH, which isn't about perfection, but about creating an environment where strain doesn't build quietly. A woman once told me, "I started adding lemon water each morning. It felt silly at first, too simple, but my body began asking for it, and now I feel cleaner before I've even had breakfast." That's the shift, not dramatic, but felt. So, let lemons return to your counter, not just for flavor, but for forgiveness. Because even stones, if caught early, can soften, with just a little kindness each morning. 5. Watermelon, the inner rinse. It's almost all water, but somehow, it holds more than that. Watermelon isn't just a fruit, it's a memory of bare feet, of shaded porches, of juice running down your wrist on a hot day. But now, it becomes something else, a gentle flood from the inside. Over 90% of its weight is water, but unlike a glass you sip, this water moves through your body with rhythm. It hydrates deeper, it rinses the kidneys, not with pressure, but with presence. And the potassium, it acts like a soft negotiator, helping your body release sodium, the mineral that clings too long and leaves behind tension, swelling, and silent strain. I often tell patients, don't just eat watermelon, let it rinse you. Let it move through the quiet spaces where your body holds on. One man said, "I didn't know fruit could make my legs feel lighter. But after eating a few slices daily, I stopped waking up with tight ankles." It didn't happen overnight, but it happened. Softly, try it chilled, try it cubed, try it blended into stillness, not as dessert, but as a gentle offering to the filters inside you that have worked without pause. Because sometimes the best medicine is something your body already knows, but had forgotten how to receive. Let watermelon remind you. 6. Pomegranate. Blood flow meets inner clarity. We end not with softness, but with strength wrapped in color. Pomegranate. Ruby-skinned, seed-filled, ancient. It holds a kind of wisdom that feels earned. Inside its deep red flesh lives a blend of antioxidants and nitric oxide boosters. Compounds that do something remarkable. They open the vessels, increase circulation, and help your kidneys filter more clearly without strain. I like to think of pomegranate as a river unlocker. It doesn't just push flow, it makes room for flow. When the blood moves freely, so does clarity, not just in the body, but in the spirit. One patient once said, "When I drink pomegranate juice, it feels like the fog lifts. Not just in my body, but in my thinking." That's no coincidence. Your kidneys and your brain, they share more than you think. They both crave oxygen. Both need space. Both brighten with blood that flows without resistance. Don't rush this fruit. Crack it open slowly. Feel its seeds fall like rubies into a bowl. Eat them one by one. Let each burst remind you, I am still alive, I am still clearing, or sip the juice. Not fast, but like a whisper of thanks to the organs that have filtered you for decades without applause. If apples sweep and lemons flush, pomegranate restores. Your kidneys don't cry out. They don't crack like knees or throb like temples. They just keep going, filtering everything you've lived through, every pill you took, every sip you forgot, every salted snack eaten in silence. They've carried the burden of late nights, medications, grief that had nowhere else to go. And still, they never asked for attention. Only support, only rhythm, only the chance to clear without drowning. But maybe now, it's time to give them something back, a slice of fruit, a glass of lemon water at dawn, a small decision that says, I remember you too. Because while your kidneys don't ache, they do accumulate. They don't complain, but they remember everything. Let today be a soft turning point, not in fear, but in gentleness. They've done their part. Now, maybe you let them feel cared for, not with urgency, but with offerings, fruit, forgiveness, and the slow return to clarity. Start small, just one fruit, but eat it like a ritual, not a task, not to fix, but to notice. Does your breath feel clearer? Does your belly feel less heavy? Did something soften? If so, tell us. Which fruit met your body halfway? Which one felt like it had been waiting for you? Leave your voice below, not to prove, just to share. Someone else may be standing where you once stood, unsure, overwhelmed, quietly searching. And if there's someone you care about who still thinks kidney care means pills and silence, send them this video. Not as advice, not as correction, but as an invitation to remember that healing can taste sweet, that softness can be medicine, and that even the quietest organs deserve to feel held,